It is my pleasure to be joined by Alfie Davis, who returns at Bellator, technically Bellator 302, but Bellator Champions Series, right? In Belfast, March 22nd. Um, in terms of how we got to this, a while back when the PFL deal was announced, we had reached out to you to get your thoughts on the kind of the what was next for you regarding this deal, and you'd spoken about the PFL tournament and stuff like that and wanting to be in that. So when this kind of, I suppose actually let's go back to before we get to that point. When did you hear that this was going to be next, being on this Bellator event to kind of kick off this new era of Bellator?
Um, Probably about 9, 10 weeks ago. Yeah, I could get good notice. Yeah, I think 9, 10 weeks ago. Um, I kind of knew the different plans for both PFL and Bellator, but yeah, I didn't know if I was definitely going to be on Bellator or PFL. I kind of like the look of PFL, but equally, I've that Bellator title. I wouldn't have liked to let it go. I would have liked to have got it, but the $1 million definitely attracted me, and I didn't know that the Champion Series were doing that same thing. So yeah, but here I am, and yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Ultimately, I know that the $1 million is of course going to tempt anybody, but I know that you had spoken about just wanting to fight a ranked guy before this whole PFL thing came around. And even though you're not getting the chance to compete in the PFL tournament, to get a chance to compete on this first card against a guy like Tofiq Musayev, who has fought some of the top guys in Bellator. Obviously, he's competing in Ryzen as well, but that's a pretty good second option to have there. That it isn't, you're not just being thrown out any random event against any random guy. Like, this is a big fight in its own right. So you must be happy with that aspect, at least, if you're not going to be in the PFL tournament.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm happy with the opponent choice. I've been waiting for a while to get top 10. I mean, I fought Shabili back 3 years ago now, and yeah, there's a few things that have happened since then. But I've been waiting. He's fighting for the title now, so that's my only loss in Bellator. So the fact that he's fighting for the title, I should have been up with these guys a bit earlier, but it's happening now. It's good things come to those who wait, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it feels like, it was a strange time when the PFL deal got announced, because I know that there was a lot of uncertainty for a lot of guys as to what was going to happen. Like, would Bellator even continue to exist? And obviously, with the PFL tournament format, there isn't a whole lot of space for guys to enter it. Like, how odd was that period towards the end of last year where it seemed like everyone was talking about the deal, but nothing was being made official yet. Like, it was, referred to as the worst kept secret in MMA, because everyone knew it was happening, but no one knew when and what that would mean for all of the fighters.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was kind of annoying because you just didn't know what was happening, like fight career wise. But equally, I had a fight in like the final quarter of the year, so it wasn't like I was desperate for a fight. But I just do want to fight regularly. I want to get like 4 out a year. So yeah, I wanted to know that I was fighting. So it was annoying initially and not knowing what your employer wants of you. But now it's here. I'm yeah ready to take it. And yeah.
I'm really hoping that we get one of these Challenger Series, Champion Series rather, in London. London has always been, seems to be one of the mainstays for Bellator, throughout their calendar. They always do Ireland, and then hopefully, some point later on in the year, we get a London event, which I'm sure, will be of big interest for you as well. Like, initially when this kind of format was laid out, they said about 8 events, I think it is, in total throughout the year. So in terms of it isn't the same as the PFL format of where you're constantly got your next fight coming up, but even before you've had the first one. But I imagine, considering what you said about wanting to stay active, that it might be little bit of a tight schedule. But like I said, I'm hopefully we're going to get a London card later on, so I'm sure that'll be a target for you. But I suppose we'll see how these events work out in the schedule. But what your kind of plans for the whole year in terms of getting those fights in? Because, like I said, it is still a little bit uncertain of when we're going to get these events, and we don't have the next one already announced yet, which is I think it's exciting. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's all up in the air. Like I think this is going to be really cool, and I think this card is great. But in terms of looking ahead, long term planning, is it difficult to do right now?
No, I think if you perform well, they're going to book you. And I've been put right up there, number two ranked guy with Tofiq Musayev. So when I smash him, I'm in line for the title. So that's when the money fights happen. So yeah, so I beat Tofiq. I mean, I don't mind beating up AJ McKee after that, and then yeah, and then we can go for the title. I know they're holding up the title a bit, the two Russians, but Ayosha beaten. So I hope that he wins, and then I can get him back, and then let's just hope Nurmagomedov just stays clean and can get to the title run. But if not, I'm happy to take on a top contender. But listen, the main job for me is I need to get past Tofiq Musayev, and he's a hell of a test. So that's my plans in my head. But the main thing now is just getting past this tough opponent. And yeah, so that's what I'm ready to do.
Speaking of Tofiq Musayev, one of my favorite social media posts that I've seen for a while, the Justin Bieber comparison, which I think was always going to get a pretty great reaction from your fans. But scrolling through the comments, I'm not surprised, but a lot of Tafiq's fans were replying to that post. Did you get much grief from the messages that we didn't see? Did you get a lot of DMs and stuff like that, or was it pretty like
Yeah, I'm getting a
playful?
lot of them. They just keep sending me this gift of him, like saying Azerbaijan. Do you know what it
Yeah.
is? Azerbaijan. I think they do all right in some sports, but I don't. You know what? They haven't got like a huge sporting heritage. I think maybe like a bit of wrestling, and some other sports. So like when someone fights out of there and they're reasonably famous, they've got a big following. You know what I mean? It's not like Londoners where like
Right.
everyone around the corner is an MMA fighter, and they're like even if they know you, they're like, oh, you're an MMA fighter. Oh, all right, yeah. They might support sometimes, but yeah, that's one of them countries very similar to like Ireland, all these countries that really get behind it. So yeah, I expect it, and I enjoy winding them up. To be honest, I thought that was like a very good gift as well. When I saw his hair, it was yeah, it was a good comparison, and yeah.
It was a good one. Is this? I think this fight on paper. A lot of people will be looking at it, going, "Oh, there you go, striker versus grappler." Is it that simple to you? Because, like, look, everyone I think knows what Musayev does. Anyone who has seen you fight before definitely knows what you do best. Like, is it that simple, or is that a little bit too, not
No,
really
no.
looking into it?
Messiah's more of a striker. He's wrestling. He hasn't got great wrestling credentials. He comes out when he wants to bang. Like he'll shoot a double leg when he's losing basically, or he wants to nick around. But it's not like he's an amazing wrestler. Like he's got a decent blast double if people are there, but he hasn't really got many chains off of it. It's not like I'm fighting some of the like high class wrestlers in the division. Um, I think he's going to come out and bang. Um, but yeah, he will shoot eventually. But so I think it's a striker versus striker. Um, yeah, I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. We're both going to go at it. I know he comes out aggressive. So it's about me meeting him, and yeah, and when that happens, it's going to be yeah, two guns blazing. So it's going to be a hell of a fight.
I think to your credit that, even in some of these striker versus striker matchups that you've had over the years, there's not a ton of guys out there that after, be it a couple of minutes, be it the first round, be it even later on into the fight, that the thought's going to enter their mind at some point, "Man, this guy's got to be easier to take down or something like that. Like, there's no way that this is the easiest way to fight him. Like, so when you've got a guy like Tofiq Musayev, who not only has fought a lot of the top guys and stuff like that, experienced guy as well, and like you said, always comes to fight. Like that must be a little bit of a nice matchup for you in terms of, that this guy isn't going to necessarily be afraid to strike with you, despite the fact, I'm sure that he would have seen the highlights and all of that stuff. And there's a lot of opponents that would see that kind of stuff and go, yeah, no, I'm not even going to bother with that.
Yeah. 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 I think he's confident in his ability. He's got a high knockout ratio, you know. He's got a high knockout ratio. He's banged with like some good guys. But yeah, as you said, I'm a different puzzle. I'm my style of striking. I'm going to be puzzling for him. So I do expect him to shoot when he realizes that he can't really touch me. And yeah, then we can engage in the grappling. He's not, as I said, on the floor. He's got decent wrestling, but on the floor, he's an amateur. Yeah. He's not got good jujitsu. Ground and pound, sloppy, just throws big bombs. So yeah, I mean, if I was to my jujitsu will do his jujitsu. So if he wants to take it to the floor, then I'm happy to go there with him. Yeah, so either wherever he wants to go, I'm ready.
One of the things that I don't think many people would be able to have on their resume is the fact that you can go onto your Instagram page. It doesn't take too long before there's the clip of Joe Rogan talking about your axe kick knockout. Like that, I know that it happened a while ago now, and I'm sure I'm sure you must still get like pings on social media from people commenting on that or talking about that highlight, and obviously the fact that Joe Rogan's talking about it is going to amplify that massively, right? Like, what was that like as a moment, and then obviously being able to kick on from that and show people that, like, oh well, if you like that, well, I'm doing similar things against high level guys as well.
Yeah, it was a good knockout. I don't know if I'm ever going to beat that knockout.
It'd be
I don't.
tough to do, man. It'd be
Yeah, I
tough.
don't know if anyone can beat that. Like that's like sometimes I watch it and I'm like, is that really me? Bloody hell! It's like I still watch it and think that is an amazing kick, and there's not really many kick knockouts like that. So yeah, yeah. I mean, it was nice that Joe appreciated it. I know he was a taekwondo background. He actually spoke about me not too long ago as well. So yeah, I'm happy that he's a fan. To be honest, I'm a fan of his podcast. So I'm happy that he's a fan. And I just hope that I can produce some more magic like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I look forward to seeing it, man. I'm sure that, if we do get another magic moment like that, then, like you said, title shot will not be very far away from you. So, that in London will be absolutely phenomenal. If that happens, I would love to see that. So,
Yeah, I'd love to have Shibili rematch London. That'd be great.
yeah, that'd
So
be an incredible main event. So yeah, I look forward to it, man. All the best for this fight, and thank you for your time, mate.
cheers. Thanks, Carl.
All
Take
right,
care, buddy.
cheers, man. See you later.